I just want to wait till Joe comes on. It's Joe. I'm gonna get straight in this, Joe. Joe, can you just unmute yourself and tell me if you're on? Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday, February 9th Board of Education Business Meeting. Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Just my normal statement, if everybody out there can mute themselves except for Joe. Just stay muted until we ask you to speak. At this point, I need a motion to move docket 0-237 through 0-240.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions?
No.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We have no Board of Education report. PTA, PTSA, and SEPTA. I have a report from Mrs. Mummondy, who is the co-president of SEPTA. She said the next SEPTA meeting will be held on Wednesday, March 10th via Zoom at 7:30 p.m. Connell, Director of Alternative Placement Services from Beyond Boundaries, will present on managing organization and increasing focus. SEPTA's next fundraiser will be an autism awareness mask. Flyers will be going home soon. The mask will cost $7, and they're asking that everybody wears the autism awareness masks during the month of April, which is Autism Awareness Month, to help spread awareness. Thank you very much. Do we have a representative from PTA on? And do we have a representative from PTSA on? Okay. So we'll move on to our student representative. Albert, are you ready with your report?
Yes, hello. So this Friday, February 12th, is the 11th annual PS I Love You Day. PS I Love You Day is a nationwide campaign to bring greater awareness to mental health needs, bullying prevention, and suicide prevention. This year, we will be celebrating the day by playing a video from the members of SAD in the morning announcements to discuss the mission of the local grassroots organization. In addition to the video, the members of SAD are asking staff and students to wear purple to show their support for this movement. For the class of 2021, reminder to all seniors, Jostens has only received cap and gown orders from about a third of the senior class. It is necessary to order your cap and gown for graduation by mail. If you do not receive one, extra copies are available in the counter in the main office. For the STEM and National Honor Society, peer tutoring in all subjects, including AP, are available for high school students in grades 9 to 12. For the yearbook, yearbooks are still available for purchase. The link is available on the high school website. Prices will go up at the end of March, so order yours today. And lastly, for the Art Honor Society, Ms. Ross and several art students participated in a virtual field trip to the Heckscher Museum. Students analyzed several pieces of art that were created in response to the pandemic and reflected on their own feelings during this time. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Albert. You can go back and do your homework now. And I just want to say for any senior parent who may be on the video at this time, if you did not do your recognition ad, today was the last day to do it. So go on the website and go to the Jostens page when you are ordering your child's yearbook. Thanks, Albert. Today.
Thank you. Good night.
Mrs. Merle, do you have a PTSA report? I see that you popped on. Oh, but then, there she is.
No, just thank you for everyone who came out to the meeting last night, and that's it. Thanks.
Great. Thank you. You're gonna do your report, right, first? So at this time, we're gonna go to Mr. Reaman for his superintendent's report.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Kindergarten registration is underway. If you know of anyone who has a child turning 5 before December 1st, please direct them to Chestnut Street. Interscholastic sports, the winter edition is underway, or they are underway. Student athletes and coaches have been vigilant in their protocols, and games and events will begin shortly, quite shortly, as there are games tomorrow. Please remember there are no spectators allowed. We will be streaming games, and a link will be shared via social media and the website. The budget process is as interesting as ever. Let's recall that we went out with a 0% increase last year. We left approximately $800,000 on the proverbial table. We are still waiting to see if we will be made whole for this current school year. The governor is banking on $15 billion from the federal government. There is a line in each district's budget called the total change in district support. This is meaningful since it includes both the state and federal funds that will be distributed to schools according to the executive budget. The increase statewide is about 7% of the state and federal dollars that are scheduled to be distributed. This means that Nassau and Suffolk counties are receiving an increase of about 1.2% compared to the statewide increase of 7%. In short, Long Island is scheduled to receive 2.1%, and we're near the traditional share of 12% of the aid increase. The state budget gap is $8 billion, clearly shown in its own financial plan. Tax receipts are lower than last year's totals for obvious reasons, but are running $2.3 billion ahead of the governor's projections, supporting the comptroller's prediction that receipts for the year will end up $3.8 billion higher than the governor projects. In that case, the current gap is actually only $4.2 billion, if only was such a word when you're talking about billions. The state has $5.1 billion in federal coronavirus relief, which is the initial first round CARES Act funds, as well as the state has $7.2 billion in cash reserves. You must remember that as soon as the federal stimulus funds stop, the state already has a school aid gap of $1.1 billion to make up. That is the amount it decreased aid when the federal government provided the first round of stimulus funding. The net impact to schools might have been $0 at the time, but we know from the gap elimination adjustment of a decade ago that the state does not immediately take up the slack. In fact, last time it took a decade to get back to pre-GEA funding levels. The executive budget proposes to hold foundation aid amounts flat for a second consecutive year at the 1920 levels for every district. Proposal includes no adjustments, updates, or other changes to the statutory formula. School districts remain approximately $4 billion below full funding, and no plan to achieve full funding exists. In addition, even while the funding remains flat, there is still value in making updates and adjustments to the formula, with an eye towards improving equity so that both the state and districts are better prepared for when phase-in of the foundation aid formula is able to resume. The executive budget concludes the consolidation of multiple expense-based and categorical aids into a new services aid category for 21-22. Notably, the consolidated aids would include transportation aid, BOCES aid, special services aid, charter school transitional aid, high tax aid, supplemental public excess cost aid, academic enhancement aid, and the 4 instructional material aids: library, textbook, software, and computer hardware. This new service aid category will be implemented immediately, effectively limiting the predictability and potential growth of these collective aids if they have been allowed to run as individual categories. Services aid would then be further reduced by $400 million, then backfilled through the Federal CARES Act, the new one, the CRRSA. The district-specific reduction to service aid will be determined using a district wealth adjusted per pupil formula. That reduction is already incorporated into the services aid allocation which is in all the school aid runs currently, building aid and excess cost aids, providing reimbursements for special ed students will remain as individual expense aid categories. The governor has represented the consolidation of these aid categories as a way to free up funding for additional foundation aid increases, but there's nothing in the proposal that would achieve that goal. Without that insurance, it is possible that this proposal could lead to a comparative reduction in school aid for many districts in any given year. In particular, this would negatively affect districts that share services through BOCES, districts like us, districts facing increasing transportation costs, districts like us, and those who see significant growth in charter school costs and enrollment. That's not us. In late 2020, the state indicated that because districts were not transporting students to and from schools, standby costs such as transportation, salary, and benefits would not be aidable. Layoffs during this time would only contribute to historic unemployment levels and would have exacerbated the bus driver shortage districts have been facing for years. The Federal CARES Act also directed any school district and other entities receiving assistance to the greatest extent practicable, continue to pay its employees and contractors during the period of any disruptions or closures related to the coronavirus. Couple this with renegotiate transportation contracts, new busing and routes, and we have seen, the West Hampton Union School District has seen a tremendous increase in our transportation costs. Enough with the great news. Let's go on to something better. I have an update, and Mrs. Brome's going to speak a bit more about some of our fabulous high school students. But we have an update just happened to come in today for our Samsung Award winners. I think you all might be familiar with that, our research group. Well, our research students are working with a gentleman from the NIST, which is the National Institute of Standards and Technology. He is He is currently performing qualitative research using an array of mask types. His goal is to show that no matter what type of technology you have to test the masks, the results will be the same. There are 3 test groups that are going to be conducting this with this gentleman. First, the FDA, which has obviously multi-million-dollar equipment to test mask effectiveness. The second group is going to be the NIST, obviously. And they have quality equipment, but not as elaborate as the FDA. And the best part of this paragraph that I'm reading to you right now is that the last group is West Hempstead High School. So we're going to be part of a research study that's actually going to be published in the journal. Our students are going to be interviewed as part of this process, and they're going to be published in the journal as well. So the hypothesis here is that that all 3 levels of testing in each facility will show the same qualitative data. So our children not only successful in contests, but our students continue to do amazing work. And now they're doing it with real researchers. And hopefully this leads to some breakthroughs for us, for COVID, and for people around the world. But if not, regardless, we couldn't be any more proud of the students and the work they're doing. So I'm going to stop there for a moment and turn it over to Mrs. Brome. We'll talk a little bit more about our high school students.
Well, that was a great introduction, but now I'm just going to read this. So a lot of our students are on the screen right now. I think the majority of those that I'm going to announce, along with Mr. Trupia, are on the screen. So tonight we'd like to congratulate and celebrate Mr. Trupia and his science research students for becoming semi-finalists in the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow competition. These students were tasked with developing a STEM solution that addresses local issues. For their project, the students developed a special breathable mask made from recyclable material. Because of their efforts, the students won $15,000 for the West Hempstead High School, along with a Samsung Galaxy Note 20. In addition, they're eligible for the chance to become finalists and win another $65,000. The students who participated are Glenda Garcia, Gloria Guerriere, Victoria Guerriere, Tanash Jaramillo, Alicia Maria, and Stephen Poirot. These students will be receiving certificates tomorrow at school. They're all signed and on Ms. Bryant's desk, so they'll be delivered to the high school tomorrow. And we just want to say thank you to all of you and congratulations for the wonderful work that you guys. We're very, very proud of each and every one of you, and we look forward to seeing what you can do in the future. Thank you so much for joining us, and those of you students that are on the call right now can drop out and go complete your homework if you'd like to.
And no pressure, just finish the research and fix the world. Go get it.
With that being said, I'm going to turn it back
Okay.
over to Mr. Reaman, who's then going to.
Well, now we're going to turn the microphone over to Dr. Nichelle Rivers, along with Mr. Jonathan Douglas and Ms. Megan Lynn.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. So, I just want to thank the Board of Education for allowing us to present tonight on behalf of the Fine Performing and Culinary Arts Department. Things have been kind of wonky these last few days, and so I really appreciate all the support from Madam President, Superintendent, and our Superintendent, Ms. Riley. Before we get started, I'm going to share that I'm so pleased that we have one of our seniors with us, Jonathan Douglas, who's a phenomenal student. Our music department, let me get my clicker off of that. From our music department, and we also have Megan Lynn, who is a visual arts student as well as a music student. So we're here tonight. So tonight we're going to, in honor of Black History, we're going to have Jonathan open up with the song "Lift Every Voice and Sing." And "Lift Every Voice and Sing" was written as a poem by James Weldon Johnson many years ago, back in the 1800s. It was then set to music by his brother, John Johnson, and it was officially sang as a song in February 12th, 1900, to celebrate Lincoln's birthday. And so without further ado, I present to some and introduce to others, Jonathan Douglas.
Hi, everybody.
Sir.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
So as you can see, that's why I asked Jonathan to do that. He has a phenomenal voice, and we're going to allow him to share a little later in our presentation. So we started out with, get it prepared. Thank you. There we go. So we're here really to paint a picture of success and a picture of what our department is going to hopefully look like in the near future. We're already doing great things, and we're super excited about the things that are coming down the pipe for the Fine Performing and Culinary Arts Department. Our department has probably over 230 years of experience. We have teachers that have spent their career here. We have some new teachers that we're super excited about. A lot of the innovative and creative things that they're bringing to the table. Not going to read everyone's names, but that is our department in a nutshell. We're small, but we want to grow, and we think that that is a possibility in the future. Some of the opportunities that we're going to be providing currently this year at the high school. These are our current offerings. So we have ceramics, drawing, painting, advanced painting, studio art, AP. We have international cooking, culinary skills, gourmet food, orchestra, chamber orchestra, band, jazz band, mixed chorus, and chamber choir. At our middle school, we have our FACS classes, we have chorus, we have jazz and band, and of course in our elementary buildings, we have music, jazz, orchestra and band at the music level as well as visual arts. And so we know that the foundation of our middle school and high school is built at the elementary level. So part of the work that we want to do is to build and strengthen that. So our mission for the Fine Performing and Culinary Arts, the Fine and Performing and Culinary Arts Department's mission is to foster an appreciation of the arts while advancing student creativity through project-based learning that will serve as the catalyst for lifelong discovery and the exploration of the arts through these 4 pillars, or is more than 4, but creating, performing, presenting, and producing, responding, and connecting. This really explains the kind of the why behind what we do. To give you an example, I would argue that, these pillars are, across content areas. We just talked about the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow with Mr. Trapia's class and those phenomenal students that are doing the research. If you talk about creating, those students had to create a design. They had to sketch it out. It had to be digitally done. They had to construct that mask. Under performing, presenting, and producing, the students had to produce a 3-minute video that they submitted for consideration. They had to write an application. They had to present their hypothesis. In terms of responding, they had to respond to the question. So the question was, develop a STEM solution that addresses a local issue. And their response was creating a breathable mask. In terms of connecting, so not only did they connect because we're in the middle of a pandemic and we all are wearing masks, they made connections across the nation. So they're collaborating with a professor in Maryland, and now they're collaborating with this organization that the superintendent just mentioned. So as you can see, in terms of the arts cross content areas, especially when you look at it through a project-based lens and through an arts integrated lens. So the reason why we feel so strongly about this is because we feel it's important to empower our youth. If we are to prepare them for the dynamic future that all of them have before them, we must help them to develop their creativity. As the essence of human experience, it shapes the future. It's the building block that connects our human experiences to life itself, a core discipline for developing human experience. And the premise really behind this belief is really grounded in our mission statement. It's grounded in the idea of creativity and innovation, and really empowering those students to get them to where they need to be when it comes to being creative. The goals for the department, these are the goals that I set really for myself as a new director in the department. We're going to be developing a comprehensive roadmap for the department, and that's essential because a roadmap pretty much serves as a strategic plan. It kind of gives us a guide of where we want to be and where we're going to see ourselves. In terms of establishing positive relationships and being visible, I try my best to get into classrooms, to get to know students like Megan and Jonathan, developing and really sustaining those relationships with staff so that they know that they can depend on me as a new director here in the district. We're also identifying creative ways to showcase our students' talents. We think in order to grow our department, we have to showcase our department beyond the West Hempstead walls. And so we've been reaching out to community-based organizations. I've been persistent. I've been also thinking flexibly, but I don't like no for an answer. And so, we've reached out to the library, we've reached out to the post office, we reached out to the Chamber of Commerce, who did call me back, but told me just to circle back after COVID. So we're going to continue to make those inroads so that we can showcase the dynamic talents of our students and staff. And part of that, of showcasing the talent, is identifying new courses, ensuring that we have that vertical articulation. I talked a little bit about strengthening the elementary programs. It's really critical for our elementary students to find and love engaging in the arts because that's critical to not only their development, but it also helps with their social skills. And so why the fine, performing, and culinary arts? Not only do the arts promote self-esteem, motivation, aesthetic awareness, cultural exposure, it also promotes creativity, improved emotional expression. Research studies are clear. Over 25,000 students surveyed that have had experiences in the arts. They have earned not only higher grades, but higher standardized tests. Now, I'm not saying the standardized tests are the end all and the be all. We know that there is something outside of that. But the research shows us that it also enhances their critical thinking skills. And we're going to touch on that a little bit more. In terms of project-based learning, these soft skills are critical to what our students are leaving with once they engage in our arts programming. So students develop creativity, collaboration, communication, and problem solving. In terms of just breaking it down so you can just understand what I mean by these soft skills and why they're so important and how they are innately embedded into an arts education program. So for collaboration, let's say a culinary arts class, the students are going to collaborate to, one, decide what they want to create, decide what they want to make. That is problem solving, that's proactive learning. They then have to go through the decision-making process, through the collaboration process, to ultimately get from the beginning to the end of that. In terms of a visual arts project, students have to come up with the design concept, make decisions about why they're using those particular tools, while they're using this particular technique. This helps them with problem solving as well as creativity and innovation. So there's this myth about left brain versus right brain. We've all heard it. You know, the left brain, you're supposed to be anecdotal and methodical. The right brain is creative and artistic. I would argue that, you know, we use both sides of our brains ambidextrously. Did I say that right? Yeah, ambidextrous. So, you know, you can have people that write with their right hand and their left hand. So when with your left brain and your right brain, we're accessing them at the same time. So they work in tandem. So the myth that, you know, sometimes you're using one part of your brain versus the other is really a myth. We're using them in tandem, and they help one another get to this place of how you're processing what you're looking at, how you're getting to the product of what you're looking at visually or what you're creating. And so process versus product. This is really critical in the arts field because process matters and the product matters. And so the process is really designed to get us to a particular outcome. And the product is the outcome based on that process. It's how do we get there? In our arts classes, we're having conversations with students. We're talking to them about supplies. We're talking to them about techniques. They're critiquing art. They're critiquing music. You know, they are challenging themselves in creative and innovative ways. And so just like the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow project that our students did, they went through a process, but they also made it to a product, and both of them were just as important. So we're gonna get into our art department. We offer AP Art. 5 is the highest score that a student can get. We want that score. It's the highest score, and so we are really inspired to get there. You know, the benefits of taking AP Art, it allows students to, you know, not have to spend so much money on a course, especially if the college gives them credit for that. You know, and it also puts them on the track to succeed because they're experiencing more rigorous content by taking an AP Art class. some data from last year. As you can see, we had 3 students, which is 40% who scored 3 and above in our drawing. And 2D art and design, 5 students, 50% scored 3 and above last year. 100% of those students submitted their portfolios even during the middle of a COVID pandemic last year. So we're super proud of that. This year we have 13 students, 3 that are going to be sitting for the AP exam in drawing, and 10 that will be sitting for the 2D art class. And then we're gonna talk a little bit about, just to explain to you a little bit about what the process the students go through. I want Megan to come up now to talk about this particular slide, because this is her project. But AP is similar to the STEM investigative work that the Samsung team is doing.
I wanted to talk about my process. So through AP Art, I want to kind of express how my different life experiences influence and shape me as a person. On the screen, as you all can see, there's a process or idea of what I was going to draw on the left. I tried different layouts and compositions to see which one would convey this particular message the most, and I ended up going with the 4th one with a little bit of changes. On the right, it's a process of what I've completed. It's not the final, but it's a process. And the piece itself is kind of like tying my identity and my future together. The dragon is kind of like a guide to the girl who kind of is supposed to represent me. And basically they're looking ahead and going ahead to just continue that sense of exploration and self-identity.
All right, so I think maybe did a great job explaining that. We have a few more slides that just to give you an idea of some of the things. This is not all of them, but this is kind of give you an idea of some of the things that some of our students are doing. This particular investigative question is, how can I use elements of design to tell a story and convey its sentiments and meaning? So what we know about art is that teaching art, and really under this big umbrella of critical thinking, it really organically is connected to the arts. You can see on the left, the student is really unpacking the story and breaking it down and coming up with the costumes and really telling a story via a grid before they create it and turn it into a piece of art. This next piece, how can I use design to reveal a person's passion, identity in my art? You can see the creativity in the student's work. We can sit and analyze the reasons behind it, but really only the student can explain that. I really love the piece on the left, that textured, layered look, and I actually like the fact that he doesn't have heads on the centerpiece. I think it speaks volumes to some of the things that our students are experiencing and how they're not afraid to express themselves via the arts. This next one, how can I show the personalities of my characters using patterns in space? Patterns in space, this is grounded in math. This is also grounded in music. Patterns in space help you get from one place to another, especially when you think about the sequence of it and how it connects to time. This is one of my favorites. When viewing the Fibonacci sequence, why is there a sense of peace and nostalgia? So this particular student is the Fibonacci sequence is a mathematical formula, right? And so it reminds me of the movie The Da Vinci Code and how complex it was. But this particular student is connecting this mathematical formula to a sense of peace. There's a researcher out of Queens College, which is Coney System, who is conducting a mathematical model to research sustainable peace. How awesome would it be for this student to connect with that researcher? and to see where this goes from that mathematical formula that the researcher is currently conducting and the work that she's doing with her Fibonacci sequence. Thank you. For your names. John.
Hi again. So, some of the students in the Honor Society noticed how unattractive the space behind the back of the high school looked near the locker rooms. So we felt that we could make it better by painting a mural, given how we were able to paint a mural here at Chestnut last year. So over the course of 3 meetings with our advisor, Ms. Ross, several students came up with different designs and ideas for the murals. And we settled on the one on the screen where there would be our Ram logo and also pictures of sports. We initially wanted to do a community painting night last year.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Initially, we wanted to do a community paint night last year so we can get everyone involved in the arts. But due to COVID, it had to be canceled. So instead of the paint night, we came up with a mural project instead, which would be a great idea to get everyone involved in the art making process. So after meeting with our advisor, Ms. Ross, we brainstormed for some fundraising ideas. We all came up with the idea of creating masses. We wanted to make them colorful and fun, so we decided to experiment with bleach stained masks and tie-dye. And everyone, a part of the Art Honor Society, got masks. Some of us participated in making it, and it required us to work together, experimenting with different colors and different techniques to make them. And it was really fun too. With the overwhelming support of students and staff, we were able to sell over 50 of them.
Tag teaming. Let me go back. So for about 24 years, our elementary art teachers have been collaborating with Assemblywoman Judy Griffin's Valentine's for Vets initiative. So the students are creating, you can see here, Valentine's for Vets that will be delivered to the Assemblywoman's office and delivered to vets in the community. So we're excited about this opportunity and the fact that our students are giving back to service members who've given so much for our country.
Have anything else to add about what they think that her relationship is to the house, or?
All right, so.
Okay, it looks like she's just very elegant and doesn't fit in with such.
I think it's gonna keep going. So this, our art students at the high school participated in a virtual field trip with the Heckscher Museum. And they, really had an opportunity to analyze and critique the art that was shown to them with the curators at the Heckscher Museum. I was trying to get over there that day, but unfortunately I wasn't able to make it over because I wanted to sit in. Our students, from what I was told, asked some really thought-provoking questions, higher order questions. And so this really further illustrates how critical thinking is directly and organically connected to the creative and performing arts. Our middle school students, during this time when they get to middle school, they're coming from elementary settings and they're really trying to figure out who they are, even though when some students get to high school, some of them still are struggling with who they are and identity. So a project that I found was just an awesome project was this self-portraits where the students layered this work. And so they started out with creating patterns. And they created these patterns and they overlaid the patterns with a sheet of acetate. And acetate, for those that may not be familiar with that, it's like a sheer piece of film. And so they outlined their image on this sheer piece of film, and they layered it on top of the background that you see there. So it kind of gives you a 3D kind of feel if you see them in person. Some upcoming art events. We have the All County Art Showcase that's coming up. Nothing has changed outside of it being virtual. And we have the Long Island Best Art Exhibition that's in partnership with the Heckscher Museum. So we probably, hopefully will have at least 8 entries that will be going to the Long Island Best Art Exhibition at Heckscher Museum. Our music department.
Okay. So I've had the pleasure of being a part of the Triumph Music Society. And what it does is that it opens up a whole bunch of opportunities for students who have already proven themselves in academic and musical areas. And through performance and community service, it helps develop confidence, critical thinking, creativity, compassion. And also something that we are doing as a society is that we are partnering with Cornwell. So for a service project this year, we're recording ourselves reading a selection to the students at Cornwell. They're going to pick a book and we'll read it to them. And these videos will be accessible to the students through their Google Classroom. And we want to spark a continuous desire to want to continue to read. Because if you start it from a young age, it'll most likely be with them until they get older. Yeah, thanks. So I've had the pleasure of being a part of the NISMA organization. I was selected to be an All-State, which is the highest honor that you could be in NISMA.
Yes.
So you have to score a 99.
Say that loud. That's a big one.
So you have to score a 99 or higher to be a part of it. And I was a part of it. So it was online. And I had to sing and I had to give my video so it can all be together as a compilation of everybody. A judge from NISMA, they recommended me, and they gave me the opportunity to work with Ms. Moraes, who I appreciate very much. I appreciate Ms. Moraes, I want you to know that. So I was able to work with her one-on-one, and she was able to help me hone my skills and to tell me what I need to improve on. And because of her, I was able to go as far as I was able to. And right now, she's also been working with other students and preparing them so that they are ready for NISMA. Also, All Eastern is very similar to NISMA, but the only difference is it has the Eastern Division and Europe that's a part of it. So I was recommended, but I didn't make it, which is okay. I'm all right. I'm all good. But it was an honor just to even be nominated. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, John. All right. I love this whole tag team thing we're doing with the students. So just to keep going, our drama club is going to be presenting a theatrical musical review. Auditions are forthcoming. We're going to be planning to use a compilation of songs from past performances, and we anticipate a virtual show sometime in May. Once we get more details, we'll be able to share the specifics. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to ever visit Miss Diana Minerva's music class, but the students are always moving and beating and just doing cool stuff. And what the research tells us, we know that it's important for students to be involved in music and movement. It helps them not only release that energy, it helps them with their fine motor skills. It also helps them with their social skills. And so it enhances their critical thinking and their ability to kind of look at things through a different lens. And so we're super excited about, the work that's happening at Chestnut and Cornwell through music and
Take time in life, take time in life, take time in life, 'cause you got far way to go. I was passing. passing by, my sister called to me, and they said,
Okay, as you can see at the bottom, it says, applying past knowledge to new situations, right? So COVID is here. We all know COVID is here. So our students had to sing outside because of the 12 feet social distancing protocols when it comes to music. So we're still working with them on projecting. They were able to, you're fine. They were able to create a phenomenal winter concert video that we put out. But not only are our students creating musically, they're also conducting research. I walk into classes, they're conducting research, they're collaborating with their peers. I went in one classroom one day and I learned about 3 different artists musicians that I had never heard of. And so they're working and they're reading, they're writing. What Dan always says is read, write, think critically. Our students are doing this through our arts classes.
That you learned during times that he cried, and bridges he burned, the way that he died. It's time now to sing out, for the story never ends.
Okay, are there any other Rent fans in here? Am I the only one? Am I the only Rent fan of Broadway? All right, so I love Seasons of Love. Our middle school students, they were not able to create we created something, but we, due to COVID, we had to sing outside for our winter concert. And so we just were not able to put out what we felt showcased the actual talent that we have. And so we're gonna come back stronger. We're gonna be persistent. We're thinking flexibly, so we're going to be thinking a lot differently about how we're approaching this Seasons of Love spring concert, and we're super excited about what's going to be coming down from our middle school.
Good. You see those accents, right? It's that same feel we had.
So this showcases a lesson that was happening at the high school. Our high school, we have orchestra, we have band, we have mixed chorus. We have a lot of things happening at our high school, and things have looked really different this year at the high school. But through it all, they've been persistent. I know I said persistent a lot. You're probably going to text her. She said persistent a lot. But we've been persistent, and we're going to continue to strive. I'll throw out another HON. We're going to continue to strive for accuracy, and we're going to continue to learn by applying our past knowledge to different and new situations. Because COVID has just made it different in how you look at our performances, how we're going to be looking at performances even beyond COVID and beyond 2021. And so we're super proud about the work that our high school team is doing. Ms. Morace is winter concert preparation with the students. Mr. Pasquale and Mr. Hockler, they did a phenomenal job preparing the students for the winter concert. So our NISPA festivals are coming up, and here are the categories. It will be virtual this year. Pulled the numbers today. As of today, we have 38 students that have registered for the NISPA festival. So we're really excited about that, and we have until tomorrow. So we're anticipating more students to register to get that done. Our teachers are responsible for registering the students. And so we're excited about where this will lead, and hoping we get some students that score really well and make it to All-State. Right now we have 4 that have registered for All-State. Our facts department, cooking is an art, but all art requires knowing something about the techniques and materials. Now, I mentioned earlier about techniques and materials and how they really connects to the process and the product, and how both of those matter. And so in terms of our culinary arts department, while our students have not been able to necessarily cook, they've been able to use a different skill set. Sorry about the sound.
This is an example of how I want the tables to be with this type of lighting and some pictures, so I have a different type of design.
So this is a student at the high school that was presenting on his restaurant design vision board. The students went through a design process what their restaurant would be, the color of the walls, the type of art that would be on the walls, the seating arrangement, what type of menu. They had to construct this from beginning to end. Again, that decision making, that problem solving, that thinking critically about what they want their vision to look like and how they're going to get there. So a lot of questioning and problem solving there was integrated into that lesson. Our middle school students, the picture on the left, you all have experienced is the food truck. This is a pre-COVID picture. And I wanted to show the comparison. As you can see, the students on the right, they have their tools, they have measuring cups and all of those things, but they're using them in a different way, right? So we had to be creative. We had to think flexibly about how to get students to deepen their knowledge and their understanding of using the supplies and materials and techniques in ways that will make sure that they're not losing the fact that they're actually not cooking. So we want them to be engaged in the process and continue that learning. We talked a little bit earlier about building the department. In order to build a department, we want the department to grow. And so the building blocks for the department, really, one of our first steps outside of showcasing our department is, coming up with 3 new courses. We're excited about, songwriting, music technology, and independent living. And the next video you'll see is pretty much to tell you about. Now let's take a look at the new courses our department will be offering. The West Hempstead High School Fine Performing and Culinary Arts Department is super excited to offer 3 new courses for the 21-22 school year. In the songwriting course, students will compose well-crafted lyrics and music. Songwriters create music that speaks to our hearts, our souls, our whole being. Prince once said, "I never stop writing because sometimes ideas are coming so fast that I have to stop doing one song to get to another." Music is about building a new foundation, not just laying something on top of what's already there. Let us help you get your songwriting game on. I think our songwriting class is for you. Come check it out. In music technology, students will explore digital sound recording and manipulation. Music is influenced and innately tied to the technology used to create it. As the tools evolve, so will the art of music. This could be you. Your music technology journey awaits. In independent living, students will be prepared for real-life experiences after high school. So ask yourself, how are you preparing for independent living? Keep away from this. Learn survival cooking, grocery shopping, and other life essentials. Want to avoid this? Our independent living class will help you have more than $1.45 left over. Ready or not, there is real life after high school, and we want all of our students to be prepared. Our new course offerings will help you on this journey. The Fine Performing and Culinary Arts Department's new courses, songwriting, music technology, and independent living, they are waiting for you. All right. So what's coming up next for our department? Like I said, our departments are working on our spring concerts. We're excited about the Hofstra University partnership, and thank you to the board for approving it at the last board meeting. They've started offering drama, theater, scene shops, screenplay writing workshops to students at the high school. The workshop we had last week, we had over 15 students during that workshop. So a small number, but it's better than 0. And so we're going to keep advertising those and working to sustain and continue this partnership with Hofstra University. And this was really promoted by one of our alumni, who you'll see in a second, Stephanie Martinez. Last thing is our alumni spotlight. We've been reaching out to alumni in the community, those that live here, those that live wherever, trying to get them to not only kind of reconnect to the district, but to leave messages for our students as to how the arts impacted them. And so before we close out, I just want to show you that video. think it's, audio.
What's up, guys? My name is Eric Cunningham. I graduated with Hempstead High School in 2017, and I took Photography 1 and Photography 2 with Mr. Ross in 11th and 12th grade. Photography 1 and Photography 2 were definitely a fun time in high school, and a lot more people should have taken it for granted that it was offered as a class, as it definitely taught me how to be creative and really let myself out and really guide me in the right career path to where I can consider myself I'm a professional photographer and travel around the world working with some of the biggest artists and musicians. And Mr. Ross definitely pushed me beyond my limits and really guided me in the right career path, and was very thankful for that, and definitely is a fun time to where I am right now with photography in life.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Martinez and I'm a 2017 graduate of West Hempstead High School. I started doing theater at West Hempstead when I was in 6th grade. I played a member of the River City PTA in our production of The Music Man Jr. Since then, my life has been dedicated to theater. I was very lucky to know for certain what I wanted to do with the rest of my life at such a young age. In years to come, I acted in every musical that I could at West Hempstead, as well as participated in stage work, making props and costumes, and even assistant directing. Today, I am a senior at Hofstra University with a BFA in Theater Arts. I am a stage manager, director, and theater educator, but I wouldn't be any of that without the West Hempstead Drama Clubs. Since 2018, I've had the opportunity to direct the middle school musical with Miss Parker every fall, and it's surreal to be able to give back to the program that gave so much to me. The arts are the heart and soul of West Hempstead, and I'm honored to be a part of that.
Hi, my name is Tom Rizzuto. I'm a 2003 graduate of West Hempstead High School, and I believe that my experiences in the music department at West Hempstead High School really prepared me for and set me on the path to the career I'm doing now. I teach music history, history of rock and roll, world music, and also guitar classes for Malloy College. I also write about music and research music and perform music whenever I can. I have a TED Talk out called Understanding the Music That Divides Us that you can see on YouTube and on the TEDx website. I also teach guitar lessons privately and am researching music education for my doctorate, which I'm pursuing right now. And I really think that the music department at West Hempstead High School gave me the foundations that I needed to have the kind of success that I've had. So thank you.
I graduated in 2017. I work at Roundabout Theater Company doing carpentry, props, lighting, love it a whole bunch. Working in theater really started for me in high school. I did stage crew, loved it so much that I wanted to turn it into a career. I also took ceramics in high school and I loved that so much. I still take pottery classes in the city. So I feel like all the arts programs that were available to me in high school were such a good opportunity for me to learn about myself and what I liked and what I was good at, and be able to take that information into what I wanted to do with my life, either as a career path or as a hobby for the soul, which is so important, and I'm so thankful for that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Gabby Mayo. I'm a 2013 graduate from West Hempstead High School, currently finishing my degree in studio art and graphic design. And looking back at my time in West Hempstead, I've really come to know that that was the foundation of my arts education, and it played a really important role in both my personal and my professional life, because having those resources and the space to create is what led me to pursue the path that I did. I felt a real sense of accomplishment that I didn't find in other subjects, and I'm very grateful that I had the guidance of all the amazing teachers there who shared their love of the arts, because that's how I came to love the arts as well.
Hi, my name is Madeline Close and I'm a 2020 graduate of West Hempstead High School. Throughout my high school career, I took culinary arts and music classes, orchestra to be specific, but I highly recommend culinary arts because it's a great way to meet new people and it's just a fun class to take in general. And if you are able to get into playing an instrument or singing or whatever you would like to do, I would highly recommend it. The arts had a significant impact for me in high school, especially music. I played the viola from 4th grade to my senior year of high school, and I just wouldn't change my decision at all. It's a great way to meet people and it gives you something to look forward to. So I highly recommend getting into the arts.
And thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Rivers. I don't know how there could be a question. You covered everything. I don't even know if there could possibly be a question, but I will ask the board if they have any questions for you in regard to what was just presented.
No question. Well done.
It was a wonderful presentation, and thank you both to Jonathan and Megan for coming and helping.
Yes.
You guys
Good luck to you.
both did a fabulous job. Johnny, a friend said you did fabulous job. You can thank her tomorrow. She paid me to say that. Anyway, you guys can go home and.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you very much again.
Get home safe.
We're gonna continue on. So we've currently reached, Dr. Rivers is still here in case anybody in the audience has any questions. We're gonna get to that part now. We've currently reached the period for district residents, Island Park residents, and or employees of the district to address the board. The individual will be limited to 3 minutes of non-confidential agenda items with an overall maximum of 20 minutes for this part of the meeting if needed. If you have a question for us to answer, please type in the chat box that you have a question, and then I'll ask you to unmute yourself. I always hate, I feel like I'm waiting for, Okay, so we're going to move on, and there will be a period at the end of the meeting that you can also ask questions, and Dr. Rivers will still be here then as well. Sorry. Now. So at this point, I need a motion to move docket 0-241 through 0-246. Second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. I need a motion to move docket 0-247 through 0-253. It's Joe, he needs to stay on this, I need to hear him. And any questions? Do we have any questions on those dockets? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes. I'm just gonna say that we just approved the contract with the Tilla Center for graduation, which I hope that we go through with. The way we're, the way we have in the past. I need a motion to move docket 0-228 through 0-236. Was that you? Oh, yes, I seconded. Do we have any questions? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Passes. Do we? I need a motion to move docket 0-254. Any questions? All in favor? Aye, motion passes. I just want to stop for 1 second because I see Mrs. Macchia on here. Mrs. Macchia, did you have a PTA, anything to say from the PTA?
Actually, I think Michelle, she's going to speak on my behalf because I'm in the middle of another meeting. I'm dual meeting right now.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Michelle Thomas. I didn't see you there. Do you want to speak for PTA at this point? Michelle, if you're going to speak, you need to unmute. Okay, so I'm going to move on. Future meeting dates are on the back of the agenda and also posted on the website. Just so we know, everybody be prepared. It is now budget season, which means we are now into a meeting a week. Joel's favorite time of year. So our first 2 weeks of March includes our non-instructional meeting, which will be the first week, and our instructional meeting, which is the second week in March. I just don't have, actually, I do have the dates in front of me. I think they're right here. Then we actually have a week off, and then the following week is our Board of Education meeting. I think, yeah, I think that's wrong, but that's all right. Every week in March, be here, 7:30, because we will be. And we will miss seeing your faces if you're not here. So we've now reached the second period for district residents, Island Park residents, or employees of the district to address the board. This individual will be limited to 3 minutes of non-confidential agenda items with an overall maximum of 20 for this part of the meeting if needed. If you have a question, please type in the chat box. Emily Merle, you want to unmute yourself? Joe, just mute. Oh, you're already muted.
Emily Merle, district resident. In terms of snow days, since we've used all our snow days on the calendar, what is the plan moving forward if we have more snow?
Okay, I believe there's actually at least one more day on the calendar that's considered a snow day, prior to us getting to that point. Once we reach that point, I believe then we discussed going remote, correct?
There is,
I think it's just
there's
one.
2 more. Well, technically, right now, there's still 2 left. April 5th and February 19th.
Oh, right, but I don't think, unless we get snowed out next week, we're not losing February 19th. So technically, there's 1 left, right? One left in April, 1 left next week. Should we get snowed out tomorrow or the next day? Probably not. Mr. Hoffman is advising it's supposed to snow on Thursday, so be prepared. Not being helpful.
Remember we put out what we want to see?
Did that answer the question, Mrs. Merle?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'll ask if you could read, well, you already did it. Do we have any other questions from the audience at this time? Any questions for Dr. Rivers, who's still here hiding in the background? Barbara, you have a question?
Yeah, did we get a confirmation on whether or not the Board of Ed budget vote date has been changed?
We have not. We are still waiting for information from the state.
Thank you. Also, Dr. Rivers, you mentioned reaching out to the community. We have a very good relationship with the Chamber of Commerce. If you'd like, I can get you hooked up with a couple of the members of the Chamber for your programs.
I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Rivers said she did speak with somebody from the chamber who asked you to revisit, right?
I spoke to the president.
Oh, yeah. Did you hear her, Barbara? She said that she spoke to the president of the chamber who asked her to revisit this upon the, I don't want to say the completion of COVID, but a little bit of the lighten.
Okay, so she spoke to Marshall Myers.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do we have any other questions from the audience? Okay, so at this time, I know there, I'm not seeing a lot of parents on, but we do just want to reiterate, do you want to just reiterate the dates that we will? Okay. So I want to reiterate that due to the snow days that we've already had, the Thursday and Friday prior to Memorial Day weekend are now school days. The children will be in school. It's been posted to the website what day, what cohort will be in each of those days. And also the Tuesday after Easter is a school day. And that, I can't. Oh, April 6th, I'm sorry. So those cohort days are listed on the school website. So at this time, I need a motion from the board to move into executive session for advice of counsel and to discuss personnel.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. So we want to say thank you very much. Everybody enjoy your winter break. I hope you get to take the time and relax a little. And I hope there's not too much snow and that we get to be able to leave the house. I think people are feeling a little cooped up. So thank you very much and have a wonderful night. Joe, I'm either gonna text you a link for exec, or I'm just gonna call you and put you on speaker.
From